So that was the minority leader, Dr. Kesela Tufosan. And we are in Parliament, all night long to bring you whatever will be happening there at the dissolution of the 8th Parliament and the inauguration of the 9th Parliament, in addition to the election of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker and the second Deputy Speaker. Will all be there to bring you that. But still with government, President-elect John Dramani Mahama has announced some appointment to key positions in the office of the president, effective January 7, 2025. Now, he appoints Julius Debra as his chief of staff. You know, Julius Debra was his chief of staff in his first term of office. He maintains that position as the chief of staff. You also have Dr. Callistus Mahama. He has been appointed as executive secretary to the president. Prosper Douglas Bunny is head of interim security task force. You remember last week we brought you that story where he has made some appointment of some 6 people to act as interim, security task force. Dr. Prosper Bunny is heading that. Dr. Valerie Sawyer has been appointed as senior presidential advisor, governmental affairs. And then you also have Augustus Gusitano, is a presidential advisor responsible for 24-hour economy and accelerated export development. So that's the appointment coming for Augustus Gusitano. Marietta Ejewa Brew is legal counsel to the president of Ghana. Marietta Ejewa Brew is legal counsel for the president of Ghana. Then Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu is acting spokesperson to the president. And these appointments, according to this press release, takes effect from Tuesday, January 7, 2025. So that is, what the president-elect is, communicating to the people of Ghana. We'll be keeping an eye on how that also goes now, as well as what will be happening in Parliament for you. Now, lead data analyst here at Joy News, Isaac Kofiaje, is here with a breakdown of how the House of Parliament will look like after tonight. Remember that after tonight, midnight, the 9th Parliament will be inaugurated, and we want to bring you a look of how the 9th Parliament will be, and our data team has been putting faces to what you will see and trying to bring out exactly how the House will look like after today. Kofi, well, we know that some MPs will obviously not be coming back. Let's understand how the House will look like.
Ojo, there were some MPs who decided that, they were going to, quote-unquote, retire. Okay. They will not be part of the 9th Parliament. The majority of them actually came from the NPP side, the current government. And just look at this tall list. We're starting with Honorable Kennedy Ejapon, who is the minister for or MP for the Ascent Central constituency. He's been in Parliament since 2000. He will not be part of the 9th Parliament.
So he's been in Parliament for 24 years.
Exactly, 24 years.
A lot of experience.
Exactly. He will not be part of the 9th Parliament. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who was the vice presidential candidate for the MPP, will also not be in the 9th Parliament. Johnson Edu will also not be part. Nana Kwesi AJ Boateng, big name there. William Oreku, Edu, and then Osei Bonsu Amwa, Obi Amwa, will also not be part of the 9th Parliament. He's been in Parliament since 2012. Going forward, very own Joe Gate of the Ezekado Ketan will also not be in Parliament. He's also been in Parliament since 2005.
And he's been a deputy speaker before.
Absolutely.
He's been attorney general also. So
he goes above positions.
He goes away with vast of experience.
Exactly. Exactly. Benito Owusu also not be in Parliament. And Joseph Osei Owusu, who the current first deputy speaker, also not be in Parliament. Samuel Atacha, who has actually served almost on all the boards that are the chair of almost all the committees in Parliament, will also not be in Parliament. Dan Boche will not see Dan Boche in the 9th Parliament. Kwesi Amwakwata, the current roads minister, will also not be in Parliament.
Minister.
Well, let's put it that way. And other members of Parliament who will not be. But
because will not be coming.
Yeah, it will also be good to look at the composition of the 9th Parliament, how it will be, and you can see the big green here. That tells you the near super majority that the NDC will have. They just need one person to get that super majority in the 9th Parliament. But what we know is that we still have one outstanding, constituency in the Ablekuma North that has not been declared yet. But just like we had in some of the parliaments, we have 4 independent candidates. It will be interesting to see which side they decide to play ball with.
And you said the NDC needs one person.
Just one person to become, when they get 184, that becomes super majority. They're able to get 2/3 majority. Now, beyond those who decided not to contest in the main election, there were some who decided to go ahead and still contest. Katie Hammond was hoping to be possibly the most experienced NPP MP in the 9th Parliament. We all know he lost to a debutant, by 14,229 votes. He got 14,229 votes. That's against 13,275. And the other big names, Ambrose Derry also contested, but he lost to Richard Kuri. He will also not be coming to the 9th Parliament. There's also Eslo Wusu.
Another big name.
Yeah, big name. She will not be part of the 9th Parliament. Lost to a debutant, Kweku, Ado, who defeated her in that election there. There's also...
So how many pastors do we have in Parliament now? Is there since South now?
I think about 3 or 4, right? Yeah. You definitely, some people are pastors, but they definitely will not put it out. But yeah, we can count about 3 or 4. Henry Korte, who is the immediate past Interior Minister, will also not be in Parliament, defeated by possibly a debutant as well. Yeah,
this was a race.
Yeah, an interesting election as well. And Lydia Hassan will not be in Parliament.
That was a gap.
Parliament. That was a gap. Very huge, very huge gap.
Farmer John Dumelo. So this is he will be a member of
he will be a new
Agri Committee.
Agri-Committee
of Parliament.
Yeah,
he's a farmer.
Also comes to board. the creative arts industry as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he's a man of different talent, and he'll be very useful to the 9th Parliament. We'll see how the president will use him. Hawa Kumsin. I've mentioned Hawa Kumsin as to the list of 2 big women. We've seen Eslo, who will not be coming to the 9th Parliament. Hawa Kumsin herself will also not be there. Peter Amewu, also not be part of the 9th Parliament. Japa Mesa will not be there. Farouk Mahama, the son of the
former vice president
will not be there. And, Daquan Newman will not make it. She was defeated by a debutant. And also Sylvester Tete will not make it to the 9th Parliament. Andy Apiakubi will also not be there.
And the person who defeated Andy is an independent candidate. But we are told that he has links with the government.
With the MPP. So definitely maybe he may decide to play ball with the MPP.
But he said that I think I read an interview he granted where he said he wouldn't do business with the MPP. I don't know.
What happened in 2000 will tell you that, in 2000 we saw the MPP having just exactly half of the number of members of Parliament. They got 100 out of 200. They had to lobby to get other members for them to be able to form the majority. What we know is that if you look at the data, the other side, who are not mainly part of the minority, always decide to play ball with the majority. We do not know how that will pan out. But, of course, we are bringing on board newbies. So come to the touch screen. Let's look at the 120 debutants. Who
120.
120.
That's a huge number.
That's a huge number. So that tells you that this Parliament will lose a lot of experience, especially on the side of the minority. We know that the incoming majority have been able to preserve the experienced hands. We still have,
Kesela Tofosan is there.
Is there.
You have all their leadership. All their leadership are there.
Mahama Yariga is there. Haruna Idrisu is there.
Muntaka Mubarak is still there. They have...
So their side is really experienced.
Even Mahama Yariga is still there. So they have...
They have a lot of people. And beyond the 120 debutants, there's also the need to look at the gender representation. The 8th Parliament, although has a lot of negative, attachment, was the Parliament that delivered the highest female MPs, 40. Now, I mean, we are going to see a marginal decline in the 9th Parliament. We do not know how, other results will look like. We still know that there are still some of the constituencies that are under contention. But what we know at the moment is that we will have about 39 females who will be coming to the 8th Parliament. And it will be interesting to also look at it on the side of the representation in percentage terms. The country has been able to move from the single digits in 1992, in 1996, in 2000. Now we are talking about double digits in both the 6th, 7th, 8th, and even the 9th Parliament. Although there's a marginal decline, we're still going to see that. Election of the speakership, it will be interesting to see who becomes the speaker. But yeah, let's bring. Yeah, I mean, and I always say that if Alban Beckons is re-elected, he makes history. He becomes the second person to have a second term, and the only person who has this privilege is Justice Daniel Francis. And I mean, he was retained in the first and second Parliament.
You just made me miss this man. I was young, but he made Parliament quite an interesting place.
Yes. And I mean, today we saw her. She still remains the only female in this domain. I mean, if you're talking about the speakers of Parliament, the past speakers of Parliament, she remains the only female in the Fourth Republic that has actually, had the privilege to be in this position. And then also, we know that, I mean, there was that battle between these two in the 8th Parliament. But at the end of the day, we saw how, he was able to get that nod to become the Speaker for the 8th Parliament. Definitely tonight, I mean, we do not know if the MPP are going to present somebody, but
we can be sure that the MPP won't try it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even if you do, you don't have the numbers. You have 88 plus. Even if all the independent say they are going to do business with, that will be like 91, 92. You cannot overrule the over 180 that the NDC has. So really, Alban Beckons is likely or will become,
and he will set record. In fact, he becomes the speaker who was actually sworn in by a male Chief Justice. He will be sworn in again by a female Chief Justice.
Well,
I mean, this 9th Parliament comes with a lot of history and a lot of record. So it will be interesting to see how that pans out at midnight. I mean,
we'll see how this goes. But look, bet on Joy News. We will be at the house all throughout to bring you how the elections will go, how the 8th Parliament will be dissolved, how the 9th will be inaugurated, leading to the election of the Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker and the second Deputy Speaker. We now know, or we are being hinted that, the NDC has already made it clear who will be the first Deputy Speaker. Honorable Ahiafo is likely to be the first Deputy Speaker. But as to who will become the second Deputy Speaker, we don't know. Majority leader, we don't know. We will get to know tonight, leading into the midnight, when Joy News and panels to go to how the election, the Parliament will go. We'll be here with our panel members and our host to do that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. So that's my colleague, Isaac Kofi Ejay there. But once we stay in Parliament, the fate of 3 MP-elects for Kaikwe Central, Tema Central, and Techiman South hang in balance as Court Bailiff pursues Speaker and Clerk of Parliament to serve a stay of execution on the inauguration of the 3. The 3, Patrick Boama, Charles Forson, and Martin Ejay Mensah-Kosa, were declared winners from another coalition of results after a High Court granted a mandamus application filed by the MPP. The NDC, however, have gone to the appeals court to secure a stay of execution on the High Court judgment. Tonight, the NDC is seeking to serve the process on the Speaker and the Clerk of Parliament to block the swearing in of these 3 MPs in just a few hours. Listen to Director of Legals for the NDC, Eduji Kojo Tamaklo.
I'm aware that the bailiff of the court is in Parliament to effect the service on the Clerk of Parliament. But as you are aware, Parliament has been in a kind of prolonged meeting, today being the very last day. So that's what I can confirm to you. And to also let you know that the mandamus judgments are the subject of Supreme Court action. Yes.
Have you been able to file that with the Supreme Court?
Yes.
And
has filed it Yes, we have filed it.
Has the court set any date to sit on it?
There, to effect the filing. Yeah.
Has the court set any date to hear this case?
The indication from the registrar is immediately will be informed. But what was written on the motion paper is date yet to be fixed.
But the MPs involved, you indicated that as we speak, there's still an attempt to serve the speaker and the clerk if proceeding ends. The MPs involved, have you served them as well?
The attempt was made to serve them, but it has been, as it were, difficult to effect the service on them. Nonetheless, the Electoral Commission came to court today, having filed an affidavit in opposition. That can only be on the basis that they have been duly served.
Do you expect, does that mean that the MPs elect involved will be sworn in Parliament this late tonight? Or what do you expect to happen?
Some of the reliefs that we are seeking goes directly to the clerk. So I don't see how and why they should be sworn in.
So you expect that if the clerk is served, speaker is served, they should not be sworn in?
The appropriate will be taken. At least we must respect the due process.